and called me a coon. But it's like I like you. It's crazy because I just feel like someone like Jennifer Holliday. I understand why she stepped down, but I'm kind of upset with her because I think she still should have performed. You know, if you're gonna jump out there, then stand in your truth. Don't let no one stop you or change your mind about anything. And listen, no one put a gun to her head and made her sign on for that. But it just seems like, you know, she was basically, she was bullied.
But see, the thing about it is they will put a gun to her head to not do it.
I don't think so.
Well, that's what the threat says. You gotta say, it's why it's called a threat. You don't know the hypotheticals in there that could happen to you.
Why do you think
she's not a well-known singer, so she's not going around with security. As soon as she goes to get her tracks at the mall,
right?
Pow!
Right, but at the same time,
now we got a whole bunch of dead cats.
Yeah, but like what she said in the footage, you know, today on The View was basically it's not white people who was threatening her. It was us who was threatening her.
Right. Where do you think she live? I think she live in Atlanta.
Exactly.
They gonna get her at the Ku Klux Klan mall and drag her by her hair. You know her hair made a cat. She got the new weave.
I don't have Jennifer Holiday money, honey. I don't know what it might be because it's I don't got Jennifer Holiday money, but me personally, I feel as though, you know, like I said, once I kind of came out, and even being on this show, because I'm pretty sure the headline says Trump supporter, I'm putting a lot of myself out there. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Business owners need more customers, offer fantasy sports contests, and generate more sales. Restaurants, bars, hotels.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Good day, microphone. Turn that one on with that one. This one's on? Yes. Okay. I can hear you.
Bear with me for 1 second. Let me make a change here. So you want me to turn this one off?
Just
this one?
No, your microphone. Yeah, that one.
Turn this off. Let's do this. Get this right.
Keep talking.
I'm sorry.
Keep talking. I can hear you in the other.
I'm sorry. I can't multitask. I apologize. All right. Let me get this right. Good. Right here. That's good. All right. So, I apologize. Have a great producer. Good people working in the background. So, again, welcome, good people, to another great Sunday evening. I hope that you at the dinner table with your family, your kids. This is going to be a great topic. Again, this is Conflict Resolution with DW. I'm your host, Coach White. I'm very excited and honored to be with you today. I am your holistic personal trainer, where personal training is redefined and conflicts are resolved. So today's show is for all parents of female youth. My hope is that this show will warrant more dinner table conversations with your children about this topic. And we'll be discussing interpersonal conflicts, female youth and music. And again, as I told you guys leading up to this point, we're going to be discussing the lyrics of the song I Love It by Mr. Kanye West. A couple quick announcements before we get into this segment. I just want to take a moment to share with you guys a conversation that I've been having very recently. And I think it's a popular conversation that happens where people in Baltimore City are talking about the fact that youth have nothing to do. And a lot of the conflicts and things that occur in the city are the result of kids being bored, rec buildings being non-operable and things of that nature. But I beg to differ. So every Sunday at 3 p.m., this is my contribution to my community, letting you guys know we have football training. If you're young athletes, defensive back types, if they're running back types, skills positions, kick returns, punt returners. That is my niche. I have a lot of experience on the gridiron, and this is what I would like to pull back and offer to the community. So every Sunday at 3. So if you're looking to connect your youth with opportunities as such, as long as the weather is good, we are out there, in the sense that we're not out there when it's raining, but we're out there working. So no matter the age, college, high school, rec, if they have a passion for football, looking to go back into it, if they're in rec and they're looking to transition into high school looking to transition in college, I'll give you something to do. And that's every Sunday at 3 p.m. The fields vary. So my contact information, if you want to shoot me an email, is Darrell White. That's DARRELL White.CRS for conflict resolution services at gmail.com. Send me an email. Let's connect and allow me to help resolve any issues with your athletes as it pertains to performance. Again, just extending that. Also, I wanted to make a quick announcement. I will be having a Bible study on this topic. Again, holistic personal training is about the whole person, mind, body, and soul. So I have a psychology background. I've been a personal trainer for at least 12 years. And I've been a student and teacher of the Bible for many years as well. So we will be having a Bible study via conference call every Monday at 9 p.m. on the topic of youth, females, low self-esteem, and what the Bible says about that particular topic. Also, and I'll repeat this at the end again, I'm looking to take this conversation, as my producer would say, to another level, in hopes to have some seminars in the near future, conferences, speaking engagements on this topic. This is a very, very important topic. Our community needs to be the village that we are supposed to be. We are accountable to a God that is higher than all of us. So just wanted to make those quick announcements. Really, really excited about this show and the direction that we're going in tonight. I have My brother, Minister Marvin McKinstry, is joining us again. And we're going to dig deep into this topic. And fortunately for us, we have been in the human services field for, I guess, this will be 26 years this year. Started off in the school system. Did some work through Charles Hickey School, Job Corps, group home facilities, Greater Baltimore Urban League, Woodburn Center, you name it. We've worked in a lot of capacities, Marvin and I, and we have a great passion for the youth and young adults of our community, and they need us and we need them. So if you're on the business of empowering and mentoring youth, I salute you. You are my heroes. Keep doing your thing. The PRP company, shout out to you guys. Shout out to Brother Kenny, Sister Joy, and all the individuals, Sadiq Ali, Keys Development. I can't say enough. All of you, I salute you today. Jarrell Wilson, we have a big role to fill, and it really takes a village, but more importantly, it takes a village that is accountable to somebody higher than ourselves. So we can do this. I'm looking forward to having you guys on. Also, I want to mention, if you're a psychologist, if you're a licensed clinical social worker, I invite you to join us at the table, to be a part of this Sunday conversation. Wellness coaches, teachers, as I said, mentors. I also like to extend an invite to sports medicine professionals, coaches. The list goes on and on. Hopefully you guys have an opportunity to get on the site, Conflict Resolution Show. Please like it if you haven't at this point. And if you have joined us tonight, please share this message. Shout out to Minister Willa and my Rehoboth Light of the World church family. Please, please share this message. We need to spread this word. This is going to be a great show. And we have many more Sundays coming, Lord willing. Special shout out to Tyree Miles. If it wasn't for God working through you, good brother, I would not be here today. So it's truly an honor and a blessing. So the first segment, I just wanted to pay homage to you guys on the front line. I really appreciate your work. And again, after the first break, we're going to have Brother Minister Marvin McKinstry on. McKinstry, I apologize. We're going to have him on. We're going to dig deep into this topic. Now, I will say this. If you have not heard the song, I Love It by Mr. Kanye West, I challenge you to go online right now. Look at those lyrics, because we're going to pick it apart today. If you haven't seen the video, I challenge you to check it out while we're out doing a break. We will be back shortly. Please, please, please stay with us. I really need your feedback. This is going to be a great show. Again, welcome to Conflict Resolution with DW, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Peace.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults have unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
What does hustle hard mean to you? What does that signify in your life?
That's a lifestyle for me. You know what I mean? Like, true story, I was born into a family and a community of hustlers. Now, let's get focused right quick, because when people hear the word hustler, they confuse it with con artists or something negative. So they like to call people entrepreneurs, right? But the definition, and I'm paraphrasing, but the definition of hustle is forced movement or to be hurried, right? But we're not talking about just pushing other people. Sometimes you got to push yourself, and that what makes you a hustler. True story. So the thing about it is, like, when it comes to hustling, listen, quick story. I used to go buy juleps a lot, right? And my grandmother used to make me clean the yard, shovel snow, do things like that to go get a julep. But one day she was like, look, you putting all your money in someone else's pocket.
Word.
Save those quarters, and I can teach you how to make a formula, and you can sell your own juleps. You understand? So the next couple weeks, I saved my money.
Always a hustler.
Listen,
got to love
but think
everybody
about
got
this.
a grandma's story like that.
Grandmothers are the natural hustlers because they were the ones who maintained and sustained our families through epidemics. You're talking Big Mama went through slavery and held it. You're talking Big Mama went through the Depression and held it. Big Mama went through crack and held it and still maintains it today. So if you don't think you come from a hustler, then you don't know where you come from. You understand?
That's so real.
I began to sell juleps, and ever since then, I capture a hustle. And a hustle is not a swindle. It's not a sneaky thing. It's up front. You're providing a need. You understand? So you're the bridge. If you're a true hustler, you're trying to be the bridge. If somebody's on one side and they need to get the other, you're trying to be the bridge, fill in the gap. So hustling is a lifestyle. It's not something you can do 10 minutes out the day. It has to be something you live.
Word.
Hey, what's up? This is Nate, host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Tune in every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live, here live on BeExposedRadio.com.
Black by Demand Radio Show.
2 years ago. If you broke that bike and it don't work, that's on you, brother. I suggest you get that toolkit out back and then start working with it, right? Yeah. So my son's looking at me like, wow. And I broke down to him how we had got fixing flat tires down to a science. You understand what I mean? Sticking the tube in the water. Right? Talk to me, brother. You understand what I'm saying? Critical thinking. And seeing we look at that now, and like kids, they not as on hands like we were back in the day.
That's because nowadays you don't have to put the bikes together anymore. They can come assembled.
Yeah, everything's coming assembled.
In the store, they ask you like if you want it already assembled.
Right.
Back then, you just got the box with 1,000,000 pieces.
Right, and today I don't think they could work with that.
It's just like the thought process. Nowadays, you get a bike that's already put together. Now, when you were younger, you had to put this bike together.
You got to put it together.
That basically closes your mind into learning how to do something. Now.
Yes.
Now you're giving it something. So, okay, you take this. And this is what it is.
Right.
So now we have to run with this instead of teaching the child, this is how you put this together so you see the result as this.
Right. Critical thinking. I like that. So look, not to cut you off, Mr. Leach, but let's go to our first commercial break.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. Students, when you hear the reason or reasons for your absences throughout the years, please exit the auditorium without your high school diploma. Once you've exited, remove your cap and gown and proceed into the unknown. Too tired. Family trip. Part-time job. Helping around the house.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, good people. It's Conflict Resolution with DW. I'm your host again, Coach White, your holistic personal trainer. Where personal trainers redefine and conflicts are resolved. Again, today's show, let me tuck this a little bit, is for all parents of female youth. My hope is that this show will warrant more dinner table conversations with your children about this topic. If you guys are just joining us, we're talking about interpersonal conflicts, and that's intrapersonal. I learned that there's a difference between inter and intra. This is intrapersonal conflicts. We're talking about how female youth and music are impacted, intertwined. And today we have joining us my brother, Minister Marvin McKinstry. So happy that you are here.
Always an honor and a privilege, man.
Yes.
To be here with you and to, share some perspective around these things.
Yes, sir. And I specifically asked Brother McKinstry to bring a guest with him. So if you don't mind introducing yourself to the audience.
Hello, guys. My name is Danielle Mitchell, and that's about it.
Okay. And you are very special to us. Your input is really, really appreciated.
Thank you.
Man, she being modest.
She being modest?
She being modest. She's absolutely dope. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's an artist. I mean, an amazing artist.
Okay.
As well as, somebody that has amazing insights. She does her own little Facebook Live thing. I ain't gonna shout it out on your show.
Okay.
I don't want no brands and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
but man, she's amazing. So when you hit me up and said you wanted to bring somebody that can bring some perspective, she was the first person I thought of.
Yeah. Outstanding. Outstanding. So I shared with you guys what this show was going to be about. And I would like to begin by saying that my objective is to really identify the interpersonal conflicts of you females that can be, and I'm saying, not saying that is, I'm saying that can be the result of continuous exposure to these types of songs. And number two, to discuss a resolution. It wouldn't be conflict resolution with DW if we weren't discussing some kind of resolutions. To discuss resolutions primarily for parents. That's why I wanted to make sure that our targeted audience, although we're talking about youth females, is really for the parents of youth females. Based on the conflicts that we identify. So, as a disclaimer, my objective is not at any means to degrade the artist of this song. I have much respect for the art at being an artist myself, but I'm very cognizant of the spirit behind the music, the spiritual influences. So, I'd like to begin with a question, but I always like to let people know why I chose this song. So I chose this song for 3 reasons. It was on the Billboard's top 9 for the last probably month and a half. Wow. Right? So that means it's very, very popular. A lot of people are listening to it. Number 2, because it's a party song. Something you could dance to, right? And due to the content. So I would like to begin by looking at a definition of interpersonal conflict. So again, as I said, through my research, I found out the difference between interpersonal and intra. So we want to tap into the intra. So here it is. And this is according to the types of conflicts www.typesofconflict.org. The quote is, okay, hold on, bear with me 1 second. Right here? That's good? Okay, just checking. I'm gonna make sure we right, because this show gonna be right. That's right. So, we good? All right. Okay, perfect. So here we go. Definition. Y'all ready? Mm-hmm. The experience takes place in the person's mind, right? It is a type of conflict that is psychological, involving the individual's thoughts, values, principles, and emotions. This type of conflict can be difficult to handle if you find it hard to decipher your inner struggles, right? So my question is to you guys, with that being said, or with that in mind, what are some of the interpersonal conflicts that we see in our female youth? Anybody could take the floor.
I personally think that our youth today, as far as our females are concerned, their esteem, you know, is like really, it's kind of messed up, because it's like they could be being taught one thing, you know, when they go home, and then when they get around their friends, they're taught something else, you know, or television or social media. But yeah, self-esteem is like on an all-time high, and it's not high. It's a low self-esteem, and it causes the females or young females to find places to fill voids. Okay. You know?
Good. So I hear clapping, so we actually going to a break. We're going to pick right up where we left off when we get back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, there's my son. You've been in your room all morning.
Hey, Dad.
Matt, what's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Oh, well, it's just sort of.
I have been playing my video games and electronic games for so many hours.
Uh-huh. Well, it sounds like it might be time for you to take a break, or...
Hello, Dad.
Susan?
I have been watching TV and text messaging all morning. Yay, electronics. Yay, yay, yay.
Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and take a little trip. Maybe see some trees, some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Get out to the forest and discover the wonders of nature with your family, just like Blue, Jewel, and the whole Rio flock.
Let the kids connect to their roots. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah! Woo-hoo!
Let's rock this jungle.
Woo!
Fresh air.
What a glorious morning.
Clean water.
Woohoo! This is great.
And endless surprises.
Yo, this is untapped territory.
How amazing.
Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a left.
You are not going to.
Then what you're going to do is turn onto Marcy
and Brad
Avenue.
Just broke up,
and go past the first 3
she's
lights,
happy
and then
about
take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
then
think
drive 5
she's
more
happy,
blocks,
but
and you should be
who
there.
am I to judge, right?
Park on the right.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Get right into this, because we are excited.
Yes, very excited.
So I want to pick up where you left off about the self-esteem piece. We were talking about interpersonal conflicts that we see in our young females. So did you want to add anything to what you said last?
No, but I definitely think that low self-esteem is it's on a major all-time high, and it's not just for black women or black girls, you know, white girls. It's for honestly all girls, and it really it causes friction as they grow, you know, because they're constantly evolving. At least they should be. But it also sometimes can put them in a trance where they're stuck. You know.
Yeah.
It can.
Yeah.
And relationships as they get older, you know, when they become moms, unfortunately, we have a lot of teen moms, you know, but, you know, it plays a major part in a lot of things that they do, you know, or even me being a young woman, you know, my background was what it was, but, you know, I still could have taken a turn for the worse listening, like feeling what you fill your mind with is what's going to come out.
Yes.
You know, and so it's totally different now than it's ever been.
Yes.
You know, when I was coming up, I mean, I'm not that old, but when I was coming up, the music was a lot, it was different. It was different. Now, you know, they're a lot more freer.
Yeah.
Expression, you know, express yourself kind of thing. You know, I'm not going to judge you because I'm in my own lane kind of thing. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Yeah. What you think, Brother Minister?
Well, to me, the term that I will use, and I'm sure that these are closely related, is identity. I believe that from what I see in my 20 years, almost 20 years experience working with youth, from being a parent to my job, to ministry, to what I just see in the community.
Yeah.
The identity piece is something that all of our youth, but even more so because we always look and easily associate when it comes down to our young ladies. I personally don't like the term female when talking about our young ladies, so I'll say our young ladies struggling with everything from their looks, you know, to whatever people think about their looks, to, you know, the eating disorders predominantly happen with our young ladies, you know, to how they identify with the culture itself. You know, I've actually experienced my young ladies who are very smart wanting to play down their intellect to fit in with what they quote unquote call the ratchetness. You know what I'm saying? And those kinds of things. So the identity issue, for me, if we talking about intrapersonal, you know, when you taking them to church, or, you know, they have that good schooling, or they come from a certain type of household, but when they out or they out on their own, they want to identify with something different, and they do everything from change their language to sneaking the makeup and to change of clothes in their bag to try and be something other than what, you know, you intend to send them out to be. That identity piece is huge, man, even down to what we see a lot now in the sexuality things. You know what I mean? When you see the young women who are completely transforming themselves into boys by appearance, you know what I mean? And I love everybody, so it ain't hate speech. It's just when you see this identity piece and how it materializes in the many different facets, it's to me it's an amazing thing.
And that plays a major part with esteem. Like, if you don't have an identity or don't know who you are, you can't identify that your esteem is even low. You know, you don't know that you really have an issue. You can't fix a problem that you don't know that you have.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, that's important.
That is amazing.
So let me ask y'all this. That brings me to the next point. And the questions that I'm going to ask are derived from the lyrics of the song. All right. So when we think about interpersonal conflicts, what are your thoughts about females who reference themselves or other females as bees?
I think that's an issue. I think that's a major issue. So it's like, are you going to be a bee or are you going to be a queen? And I was having a conversation with someone today, and it's so crazy because, you know, we have young men, you know, from everywhere, you're dating or whatever. Women, men, however you guys do it, or whoever does it. The thing is, you have women, the men who call our females queens, and they're not even living up to the queen standard. Like, what exactly is a queen in your eyes? You know, because at this point, you know, I can call my sister, or, you know, my female friend, you know, or my young lady, as Marvin said, you know, a bee. But then turn around and, you know, be like, we queening, you know, no. What exactly are you? Do you even know who you are? Do you even know what that entails? do you even know what the word means? You know,
Yeah.
it takes us back to when we were kids. Like, you know, you tell your child not to say something because you're like, do you even know what that means? You know, and it's like literally, do you even know what you're pouring into yourself?
Yeah.
Because I believe, you know, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Yeah.
So what are you really thinking? What are you really believing? Because, you know, now I'm like, okay, well, am I a queen today? Or am I a beat today?
Yeah.
I think it's totally inappropriate, but I believe that it stems from what you're taught, what you know, what you connect with, should I say.
Okay.
And that goes along with identity and esteem too. Because if some people believe what they hear. And if I'm believing that I'm a queen, I'm a believe that I'm a queen. If my mom told me that I was a queen from a little girl, I'm a believe, oh, I'm a princess and I'm a queen, you know.
Yeah.
But if I hear from a man or from my friends or my peer who say that they're my friend and they're really not my friend and they mean me something else, you know, or I hear from social media, you know, that this is what it is, that's what it's going to be, because that's what I play back in my mind every time I try to look in the mirror and find out who I really am.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right.
So
I got one for you, brother minister. Great feedback. So here's another one. And again, these are derived from the lyrics. Being sexually promiscuous, is that something that you identify as an interpersonal conflict?
I think so. One of the huge things that I believe drives interpersonal conflicts, and I'm getting to your question, is the culture.
Okay.
And when the culture has completely shifted, and if you really look historically, and again going back to what Kanye's introduction to that song actually did, is it takes you away from the idea that he is attempting to insult women with his terminology, but more so pandering to this new idea of freedom and liberation, where we tried to keep the woman so conservative, while on the flip side of it, men have been able to do whatever, get away with whatever, hence 45 talking about that's just, you know, boys talk, or boys being boys.
Okay.
So specifically, I believe the interpersonal conflict is driven by the culture. So I believe that's a huge interpersonal conflict, as we live in a society where sexuality is way more accessible. You know, I'm a history, and I get a lot. I like documentaries. So I'm watching this documentary, and they talking about television through the years and how they wouldn't show Elvis from the waist down, even though he was fully dressed, just because of his dance moves. Now, if you ask me, the dude ain't had no rhythm. I don't know what it was that was so, you know, compelling about his dance moves. But on the flip side of that, we live in a time now where, whether it be your phone or the television, you got access to, you know, sexuality on a tablet. So I believe that that is something that really would drive the interpersonal conflicts, especially when you look at music videos and the young ladies that look like they can get next to the men who are the hip-hop artists, that are the people with influence. They got the money and the gold, are half dressed and look like they down for whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And reality TV don't help it anymore.
Not at all.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I got another one for you. Again, derived from the lyrics. Coveting material things that warrant a compromise of your most intimate parts. Talk to me about that as it pertains to interpersonal conflict.
I honestly think that to be materialistic, that is to have a desire for something that you've never had. But it's a perception.
Yeah.
You know, it's what you perceive, like, you know, and so, like, you know, Marvin was saying, on television and on social media, and when you see your friends, you know, who are doing it or who are getting what they want, you know, it's like, oh, well, how? Or even if you don't even have, if you didn't come up with a home, in a home where you could get whatever you wanted, you know, or you could have what you wanted, you're going to be like, okay, so what can I really do to get it? And then if I'm hanging around, you know, a young female clan or whatever, I'm gonna, birds of a feather pretty much flock together. And honestly, you are what you hang around. And so it really is a huge thing because, you know, when it comes down to it, it's not more important than self-worth. It's not more important than finding out who you are, identifying. It's not more important than, you know, all those materialistic things are not important. But going back to what's really important and finding yourself, you'll realize that those things are minute. Those things are minuscule. You'll realize that those things don't really, you know, it's good to have nice things. It's good to look the part. But to do what it takes to get what I want, I mean, really, what you have to, if you guide somebody in the direction of, you know, positivity, they're going to take on that. You know, if you guide them in the direction of negativity, they're going to take that. And then, you know, since, you know, we're coming from Kanye's lyrics, when you put something into someone, and I cannot say this enough, it's going to come out. Yeah. You know, so if I'm thinking and I'm seeing also, if I'm seeing like, okay, you know, she got that, she look good, her nails, her edges is laid, you know, her weave on fleek or whatever, you know, it's a thing of, oh, I want to be like her, you know. And then if they're younger girls, you know, coming under somebody like me, you know, it's like, okay, who's paving the way for them? Yeah. You know, once upon a time there were the Claire Huxtables. You know, where's the Claires anymore?
Now you got Cookie Lion.
Exactly. Now you got Cookie Lion, and she's like, you know, all extra. You know, nothing to the people who like that show. But honestly, it's it's the yin and the yang. It's like two opposite sides of the spectrum. Like, you know. What though? It's crazy. It messes up on so many because the cookie Lions is gonna be like, look, I do want to be on fleek. The Claire Huxtables is gonna be like, hey, look, you're gonna have this education. You're gonna make sure your bank account is right. You're gonna make sure your family is good. You're gonna learn how to cook and clean now. You know, she's gonna pull that and pour that into her seed, in opposed to the Cookie Lion. You know, that's a whole nother
I'm sure, because I don't even know what that is. No disrespect.
Empire. No. You've never seen Empire?
No, he worse than me.
Wow.
I'm green.
Yeah, he worse than me.
But
man,
look,
check that out.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I learned enough today to know that I don't want nothing to do with that. Yeah. Drug use.
It's crazy.
So again, derived from the lyrics. Talk to me about the interpersonal conflict.
So let me say this, and I think that what I'm gonna do is probably challenge a lot of what we're dealing with topically.
Yeah.
Because to me, whether we talking about material things, drug use, or anything else, it's where we teach our young people to place value.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're not going to take the person that has been given the value system, like, and I know we're talking about young women, but I look at my son, I look at little Marvin, and one of the things, of all of the things that Marvin has decided that he would go venture into, one of the things that he's just completely stayed away from is drugs. Has no desire towards it, but I've never modeled anything about that being something. And when you look again, as we keep talking about the cultural aspects of things, we're talking about a culture and systems that creates a sense of attraction or makes this stuff attractive, you know, in its advertising and promotion, whether it's the material things, whether it's the drug use. But I believe that if you've put a firm value system in, and taught people taught your young people, your young ladies, what has value, and what literally doesn't have value, then, you know, even, I guess, kind of throwing them into the lion's den, whether it be sending them to Baltimore public schools, because everybody in Baltimore public schools ain't coming from your household, whether it be being out in the community or going to their cousin's house who live in the rougher neighborhood, you know, there can be the presence of that peer pressure, but we got to make sure that we balancing it out. So lyrics that are suggestive towards drug use is ridiculous right now, because the young guys, even if you look at the Baltimore rap scene, which I'm friends with and familiar with a lot of the young rappers here in Baltimore, I've had the privilege to work with, mentor, and all, and I'm talking the guys that are really making a name for themselves. A lot of their lyrics are laced with drug use, whether it's drinking the lean or smoking marijuana. But again, I've seen some people who will listen to the music. My son love everything about Baltimore rap, from Scooter to Scola to Davo, you name it, he love them. But he don't partake, he's not interested in that, because that's never been something that he's developed in his personal system of values as something that he wanted to be a part of.
Awesome, awesome. So we get ready to go to our next break, and I'm very excited. Quick yes or no from you guys.
Okay.
Can our female youth learn from what they're hearing in songs unintentionally?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes. I mean, that's not even a matter of experience so much as my understanding of the subconscious.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. We go pick up right there as soon as we get back from this break. Again, stay tuned. It's going to get real juicy.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Be Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
Period.
the real. That's the real deal.
It's period.
And all that old money shouldn't go toward this, money should go to. If the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week, you don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes, especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice, they ain't complaining about nothing, why are you worrying about where the money go at?
It is what it is. Radio show.
Whoa.
The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You want to start off?
I think I'll get it out of the way on a who's not.
Okay, do it.
The Orioles.
Right, right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run. The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, one with a home run, drove
hit the home run.
Right. They were going into that National series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and they just crapped out. They got that game postponed, so who knows when they're going to replay that or play that game. That's my first not for the night.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on my who's not, and I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. That's okay. You just took my answer.
They're in last place in the NL West. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their run differential is a negative 65, which is just horrible. So when you have well, let me just talk about run differential a little bit. It's kind of like the
how much you're winning or losing your games by, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the margin of victory, kind of.
Right.
So when you're in a negative number, that means that then
your average game you're losing
by a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, a number like negative 65, this early
in the season is pretty rough.
That's
and
horrible.
The pitching numbers pretty much support this stat right here. I mean, the team ERA is 4.70, which is 26th in the league. They have 126 walks allowed. They acquired Jared Weaver in the offseason, and he really has not panned out. He's off to one of the worst starts in any of the pitchers.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back. Listen, we didn't stop talking about it. I told you it's juicy. Yeah.
It is.
Again, this is Conflict Resolution with DW. I'm your host, Coach White, and we're gonna get right back into this thing. So look, here's what I want to read to you guys, and I shared a little bit with the minister last week. Auditory learning and the role of the subconscious mind. Because we're going to get deeper and deeper into this. So auditory learning is learning by hearing, period. Right? I'm going to read this to you. This is from CommonwealthTimes.org. The title is Subconsciously Modified by Music. The author is Monica Houston. And she actually quoted, apologize, I'm going to butcher the last name, but it's spelled R-A-D-W-A-N, Radwan. So this is the quote. It says, these suggestions in songs are even more dangerous than normal ones. Why? Because you usually listen to music while you're busy doing something else. This allows the suggestions in the song to go directly into your subconscious mind without first being filtered by the conscious mind, right? The function of your subconscious mind is to store and retrieve data. Its job is to ensure that you respond exactly the way you are programmed. Your subconscious mind makes everything you say and do consistent with your master program. Here's the part that really grabbed me. Every type of input we receive is stored in our minds and is turned into a belief if it is repeated often enough. Any thoughts?
I think that's deep because, like you said, or like she said, you know, oftentimes we play music when we are occupied doing something. Maybe when we're driving in our cars. Maybe when we're, you know, just doing anything, you know. And it is so crazy because, you know, you could be doing something without you not even wanting to even be doing it. You know, and just a thought of, okay, let's just say weed, for example. I'm just going to use this. You know, I don't really smoke weed, you know, but if I'm listening to this song, you know, and I'm like, I get high, you know, I get high or whatever, eventually I'll be like, oh, I might not say I want to get high, but I might be like, oh, I wonder what that's like. You know, and then you start, you know, teeter-tottering over there like, let me try edible or let me do it this way, you know, or it won't be so bad if I do it that way, you know. So it definitely is, you know, that's really, really, it's a very touchy, you know, situation because, you know, you gotta, your mind, it takes what it wants to take. And then it keeps it moving. It doesn't. It gives you what it wants to give you, especially if you don't take the time out to read the lyrics like you did, Marvin, or if you don't take out to like slow, you know, play the song so you can actually know what it's saying. Yeah. You know, and yeah, I had to listen to that song and just like literally slowly listen to it. Like, okay, like I had the words at the bottom of the song and, you know, the song itself, and I was just like, ooh. So yeah, it's very touchy.
Y'all,
that's crazy.
This is the interesting thing to me, right? Those are a lot of technical terms and things of that nature, but y'all act like we ain't been using music to set the mood.
True.
Like we ain't been. I'm not. Look, hear me out. Yeah, hear me out. We haven't allowed music to do everything. Even if you got, even if it's not on the side of what we would call secular worldly stuff, but everybody, my mother says everybody has their salvation song. If I'm in church and I play I Surrender All, my pop's gonna cry because that's his salvation song. So music has always had its place. I think when we talking about younger people, where we miss it because it's not just the subliminal or suggestive language, the suggestions or the subliminal attachment that it takes to young people. It's the culture. So, tell you what my 22-year-old daughter helped me understand. With rap now, you have trap music and you have ratchet music. The trap music is the music. The trap music is the music that talks about the drug selling culture, the drug using culture. The ratchet music is the music that you would assume Kanye's thing would fit into. That talks about loose lifestyles, hold this, rat, you know, So, and I had no idea that there was a difference because I really don't listen to it. But there's no suggestion music. Now, the one thing at my age that I noticed, because I'm an old school hip hop guy, if I put my hip hop on while I'm driving versus my gospel, my driving habits have a tendency to change. I'm a little more aggressive when I listen to my hip hop. I'm being face front with it. So I'm not trying to completely say that it's not there. However, it's not going to drive me to make life decisions. But I know we're here to talk about young people.
Yeah.
And I think that with young people, because young people don't choose their lifestyle according to the music.
And then not only
I believe they choose their music according to their choice of lifestyle or the culture that they want to ascribe to or participate in. My son loved trap music. Boy, ain't never been in the street a day in his life.
Okay. I hear the clapping, Grace. Stop.
All right,
So we go to a break. I told you it's going to get juicy. Right back.
But then not only that, a child is not thinking about you.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And the guy, my friend was like, hey, there's a lady, young lady walking down. He's like, hey, you should go holler at her. And I'm like, nah, man, nah. You know, I'm a shy guy anyway, so I'm not going to do that. But he's like, yeah, do it, man. Go ahead, do it. So I said, hey, how are you? She kept walking past, and my friend also yelled out something as well. So she had stopped, and she had looked at us or whatever, and she said, this was the day before Christmas, too. It was so bad. And she's like, God damn it, it's Christmas. Like, leave me alone. And I'm like, what's wrong? I'm just trying to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm literally trying to talk to her. I'm catcalling. And I'm thinking, like, you know, it's funny. You know what I mean? I'm literally thinking, this is a couple years ago. I'm literally thinking, like, this is funny. Huh? You know what I mean? Like, whatever. We get into that bar, and she's there. Okay? And she lays me out.
Good for her.
She lays me out. I'll tell you, I mean, little do I know, I had dealt with a hardcore feminist that day. She even told me, she's like, I'm a feminist. You did not know that. You do not know who I am. You do not know where I'm from. You do not know who I know.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Shepsworth Bentley. And if you haven't heard last week's show, make sure you guys go onto BeExposedRadio.com's Facebook page or YouTube page and check it out, because you don't want to miss it. Our next show is going to be next Sunday, every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m., Homegrown Radio, new, fresh Baltimore radio.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
A beating that it does not deserve. You look at the part of West Baltimore that I'm in every day where I work, right? there's some things that's consistent with that community.
Yeah.
The parents, parenting in that community, the young people growing in that community, policing in that community, and things of that nature that shapes out the young people, and their choices of music comes out of that.
Right.
But welcome back. I'm sorry, because I told you it's juicy. That's the best way I can describe it. So, finish your thought, good brother.
I was just saying, I don't believe more or less, I believe that we're giving the music industry and these artists more credit than they do when we start talking about the suggestions, because being a person that works with young people and being a father, the way that I see it is more so my children have chosen music according to their particular lifestyles. My youngest son is he's a Baltimore guy. He likes Baltimore stuff. He's so he listens to all of the Baltimore rappers. He supports the local guys. He's a team guy. He's a football player. Most Baltimore rappers are trap rappers. The majority of them talk about what is Baltimore culture. Baltimore rap culture is three things: it's drugs, it's money, and it's guns. My son isn't into any of the three. He doesn't even get high. Right? So I'm looking at it to where it seems more to me that the young people are selecting the music according to what their interest is, as opposed to the music being overly suggestive to, now we done seen those songs like that. What's that one song by the brother from Philly? What's his name? I feel real old now. What's his name? The young brother from Philly, brother Meek Mill. Meek Mill got that one song, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all know I own a security company. I done been at some events where they play that and the crowd get amped up. I don't see fights break out. Now, when they had Ludacris, who's totally not a street guy, college educated, and he had "Move, get out my way," fights broke out.
That's the mentality of the people. That has something to do with the mentality.
And I believe it's the mentality that's reaching the people. Parenting in Sandtown, Winchester, being raised in Sandtown, Winchester, and all of these things that are consistent with a community that's in desolation, community that is riddled with drug use, a community that's over-policed, and all of these things, I believe, are more suggestive to a young person's lifestyle than the song ever would be. I believe they're choosing the songs because of where they are, not being who they are because of what music they listen to.
Okay, that's fair.
It plays a part. I mean, I do believe foundation is important, because you say your son loves trap music, but he doesn't, he's never smoked, and he's never...
I ain't say that.
Well, I mean,
I said he don't.
Well, he doesn't.
Well, I don't know if he ever has tried or experimented or whatever.
But he doesn't, though, at this point. And he's old enough to understand and comprehend what's right and decipher what's wrong. And I believe what plays a part in that is how he was taught. Because even though, he has the opportunity at this point to do whatever he wants to, but he chooses not to because of the foundation. So I understand what you're saying, but I do believe that, it definitely stems from the foundation as to how they were brought up and how they were taught. And I also, at the end of the day, it also comes down to a preference, because I'm a girl who, I'm not a singer, but, I love me some country music. Okay. I like a Brett Young, I'm the type of person where I like those kind of things. I'm not a country girl. I've never been, I'm not brought up from the South or haven't been raised up on a farm, but, it's something that I like. It's expressive, and I feel like, honestly, that music there has more meaning than the music that I hear that's trap music or that rap
and that's
stuff.
Exactly the problem, because it don't have a meaning to me. It don't have a meaning. We was off the air talking about the concept of senseless killings, senseless murder. Every murder out there makes sense to the people that's involved in it.
That's true.
And it's difficult for us to infiltrate it, penetrate it, or understand it, so that we can do some good, because we dub it a label as senseless. Every trap song.
I'm not going to say that it's senseless.
Every
it just
trap
doesn't
song
resonate with me.
Right,
So,
but again, that's where I think we miss it, because my task isn't necessarily, when it comes down to young folks, to be to be their peer, or to sit next to them, or to enjoy it. Now, I've heard some songs that I love, whether it be the beat or whatever, but it's still not my choice of music.
Right.
But I do like to throw my students off. One of my sons left Scooter's Greatest Hits in his in my car, the CD. And I'll throw my students off because they'll get in there. I'll have some talk radio or something on. And when they sit there and they making those faces like, oh my God, we got to ride, listen to this. I just hit the little button, make the disc come on, and they hear some Scooter.
That's how I am
You
with
know
my
what I
sons.
mean? And then they'll be like, oh, okay.
How you know that?
To say that I'm a part of or party to that.
But I'm aware.
But I understand. I believe that there's a sensibility that operates in our young people. And whether it's us as parents, as advocates, if we fail to take time to understand what is the sensibility in the crime culture, the culture of their choices musically and otherwise, we set ourselves up to be ineffective in their space. Because what they won't have a problem doing is finding somebody out here to agree. When you start talking about the culture of gangs, a lot of the young people that are involved in gangs are the children of parents who've been addicted to drugs, have not been around to nurture, and the big homie or quote unquote OG has now been thrusted into that position to give that young person what he's been missing. That family, that nurturing.
Attention.
But we don't sit there and exploit from, it's just violence, it's just this, it's just that, it's the other. And I know some people have motives to say that, whether it's the politicians or other people. But when we really start to look at what is grabbing a hold of our young people, a lot of times we don't courageously look at what we're lacking, especially as parents. I've had to do that with my children, thinking that my sons are supposed to, because I'm out here thinking I'm modern day Martin Luther King, that they supposed to just line up and be about what I'm about, when really the pressure that I was putting on them in a lot of instances, because of who I chose to be, was the thing that was running them in another direction. So I had to humble myself. Thank God I had a village of men such as yourself, our homeboy Rel, Keon Carpenter, and other people that could get in their ears and help me, because I wasn't real prideful when it came down to that. Realize that the pressure that my sons would get from me, that's a whole lot of pressure. Right.
In there every day.
You really do want young people to find themselves. And we spend a lot of time trying to hand to them who they need to be.
And that's so true. I'm a single mom, and me being a single mom, like, I could be in the car, you know, I like all kinds of music. I'm not just going to say I'm just a country girl, because I'm not just a country girl. But I do like all kinds of music, all types of music. And it's so crazy because I remember one day I was playing a song, and it was something that my sons could vibe off of. And they were like, oh, Mommy, what you know about that? I thought we can't listen to that. I said, look, he was like, well, Mommy, how come we can listen? You know, we can't listen to this, but you can listen to it, you know, if they're getting in the car coming home from school. And I'm like, you know what? I said, you're absolutely right. And I had to really humble myself. And I had to say, hey, you know, sometimes, you know, Mommy catch the beat real quick, you know, and I gotta dance on that, you know. And it's not always that the lyrics are to my liking, like you said, as you said. However, it's relatable to where they are, and or to where the generation is going, or where it is at this current moment. And so, you know, I had to say, you know what? You are so right. And I had to apologize to them, to say, hey, look, you know, I don't really know what you guys experience when y'all leave here, but I will know what's going on in my home. You know, I had to, you know, bring myself to that point where I will understand with you what's going on with you. And honestly, personally, for me, you know, outside of music, you know, I have to go to them and ask them, like, what's on your mind? Like, I have to talk to them to see where their heads are. You know, ask them questions and say, hey, you know, what's up? You know, what do you have anything on your, I'll ask my son, do you have anything on your heart and your mind that you need to get out? And I think some of our females, you know, we need to ask them, you know, especially, you know, when they are wrapped up in so much, because our world is wrapped up in so much today, and it exposes them to so much, and you really have to sit down and not really pick their brains, but get to the root of the issue. You know, and so when you get to the root of the issue, you know, you can then start to get them to recovery, to becoming that queen, you know, that they've always been intended to be, or princess, however you know it resonates with them.
Okay.
Let's with that being said, I'm glad you brought it back to females. Let's dig into this.
Okay.
Right, let's transition into the actual song. So here we go. Marvin pointed this out to me last week. So I'm just going to assume that our listeners have not took it to the lab yet.
Okay.
Introduction. Y'all ready? The introduction reads, and I'm going over the introduction to the lyrics of Mr. West's song. Because you know, in the old days, they couldn't say the S-H-I-T they wanted to say. They had to fake orgasms and S-H-I-T. We can tell in our GGAs today, hey, I want to see you in mother you know what.
I love the way you broke that down.
You're right, he did. Ever so well.
So look, check this out, right? I pondered and pondered on this thing. Because Marvin, I skipped last week, he'll tell you, I skipped the introduction. Because I didn't even know what to do with it. So look, here's where I agree with Marvin. So if I had to ask myself, what can be learned from the intro? Freedom of expression all day long.
Absolutely.
In the past, they, and I'm assuming because of the context of the whole song, they refers to hoes, right? They, hoes, couldn't say what they wanted to say, but today, we, I noticed the difference between the they and now the we, so the speaker is being inclusive.
Right, so are you a hoe
I disagree with you.
Well, look, check this out. Check this out.
So is the speaker a hoe too?
I'm just saying. She said in the past, they couldn't say what they wanted to say, but today, we say what we always wanted to say.
That's hoes.
I disagree with you.
So who you think the we, let's talk about the we in the day.
Women.
Okay.
You asked the question earlier about when the word be that was dubbed or deemed disrespectful is taken from woman to woman as a term of endearment. That's what you're talking about there.
Okay.
Hoe in this particular context, or the context of the song, isn't suggestive of somebody that sells their body or whatever. It's suggestive, it's setting the premise to talk about an empowered woman beyond the male driven society stereotypes or censorship.
Okay.
He ain't talking about, or they not talking about a hoe in the sense of somebody that's provocative, promiscuous. You gotta really look at it, because in this song, I told you, subliminal secret messages that promiscuity, right, or the ability or freedom to be promiscuous or more expressive is literally consistent with saying this is where women are now in our power. This is a post hashtag Me Too and all of these other things. You know what I mean? Kanye is brilliant, brother. He really is. He's a little off his rocker, but he's brilliant.
I would say he's brilliant. I would say he's brilliant, but I mean the message though. We went from, you know, no shade Kanye, but we went from Jesus Walks to, you know, what we listening to today.
He's a businessman. He's in.
I get that. I get that. So at the hand of somebody's subconscious mind.
Who's getting? I mean,
whoever listens to it.
The entertainment as an industry makes its living at the, you know, at the expense of people's subconscious mind.
That's true.
In some cases, their lives. You know, I do believe that there's some people.
Thank God for free will.
There's some people who got their hands on a gun and handle some beef that way because the culture suggests that that's what you have to do, and the music is a big part of the culture. He is no less an irresponsible artist, if that's what we dub him, but I'm not trying to leave him with the responsibility of my household.
Okay.
Right, and that's true.
All right. We are going to get into verse 1 right after this break, so please, please, please stay tuned.
Yeah, man. Hold up.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
It's time for a flashback.
Now, I'm not gonna say all Aries don't know, but
It's just the one you had. That was
this
just.
particular one, like, you know. But it's always something that you can
Go ahead, Bliss. Can you recollect any signs that you might like?
October 15th or 16th. What is that?
And Libras.
See, I've had some good Libras and I had one really bad Libra, but he was white, so he f***ed his back anyway. So I don't.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. Demonstrate. You got to demonstrate the back.
No. Ain't no way.
Not the good. How they bust? But show how they bust.
And then want to cry afterwards. I mean, what the f*** is the point of the tears? I mean, I can see you shaking, yeah, and shake it off real quick. But you crying? F*** out of here.
What was he crying for?
Cause baby, this pussy make that. You in? I got that good. Nasty bitch. The shade.
Oh shit.
McLean's Couch every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Only on BeExposedRadio.com.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
Just a bit outside radio show.
There is one glaring stat that I read about while watching the games over the weekend. New York Yankees went 22 straight innings with at least one strikeout.
Really?
That's a major league record for the postseason.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting statistic.
It is. And then when you think about it, it's like, okay, that, to me, that's like a big reason why, they're losing right now.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com. I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. Exactly. Just don't do it. If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me. Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature. And I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do. And I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane. That's not your lane. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. But it's popular. It's getting that person money. It's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them. And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like,
The Artist Exchange Radio
Jacqueline. Yes, Mom? I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy me. So, anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew. Wait, Mom, what?
What? Hold
What'd you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest.
There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is. Because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Saying, but he making his money off of that.
Again, because it's a business.
I mean, it is a business.
It's a business. And they're in the business of being in business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
We've been so disenfranchised as a people.
So as you guys can see, we still going at it. But it's fun.
Yes.
It's fun to be in this environment and to be having some real adult conversations about a very important topic.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go right into verse 1, right?
Okay.
Y'all ready? All right, here we go. You're such a effing hoe. I love it. You're such a effing hoe. I love it. Again, it's repeated. Love it, love it. I'm a F.A.B. Tell her cousin. Your boyfriend is a dork, McLovin. Dork McLovin, ooh, ooh, ooh. Right? I just pulled up in the Ghost. Ghost. F that B up out in London. Up, out in. And this must be the background person. Then I F'd up on her cousin. Or her sister. I don't know nothing. Uh-oh. Ooh. And my NIGGAs getting ignorant. Like a lighter, B. We ignorant. Ignorant, yeah. All this water on my neck looked like I fell when I went fishing. Fell. It says so much diamonds on my bust down. Ooh, F. What's the time? Where we at? Me and Smoke Perp sipping drink. Hey. Ooh, F. She take lines. So, the question that I asked Brother Marvin.
Ooh, Brother Marvin.
When I asked myself, looking at my notes, what can I learn from verse 1? So I pulled 5 things out of that. Number 1, the man loves the woman that behaves like a hoe. It implies that there's a correlation between hoes and bees. The man loves the hoe because she's sexually promiscuous and unfaithful. 4, hoes are attracted to material things, cars, the ghost, I'm assuming, chains, water on his neck. And 5th, the man loves the hoe because she takes lines. Thoughts?
You're still missing the point.
I'm just listen, but I'm telling you what I learned. I'm not missing the point. I'm telling you what I learned from it.
I understand.
What do you understand?
What I understand is this, that in this particular context, right, the whole thing is suggestive that all of these things is the new woman. It's the modern woman. It's the free woman. It's the uncensored woman. So again, we've started off this thing talking about subliminal messaging. If we just go and look at it, right, and whether we put our moral eyes, our Christian eyes, and all of those things on it, and we look at it specifically surrounding the language, we realize we miss the reality that the language ain't what's wrong with this song.
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it is the suggestion subliminally that this is empowered women. This is freedom. This is the modern woman. This is what women have evolved from. They're no longer subject to censorship. So she's a hoe, and I love it. Like she out there doing her. Go get them, sis.
The woman today.
Right?
So can I ask this question?
You can ask me any question you want. It's your show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So that's deep, and thank you, because I didn't look at it that way.
Right.
I wasn't looking at it subliminally at all.
Right.
I was looking at it through trying to
Head
look
on.
at it through a lens of a female youth. They can't even look that deep.
Yeah, because they not
But
going to
I need to be able to let her know that's the deception.
Sure, but I'm just saying.
But you're going to let her know.
Right.
It's not what she picks up when she hears the song.
But I said earlier when we talked about the trap music, it ain't my role to listen to the trap music to glorify the trap.
Absolutely.
It's to get the information so when I hear my son listening to it or I sit there and we listening to it together, I can pinpoint to him what.
But I get that, but I'm saying when she listens to that, before she
I'm in
gets
agreement with that.
to a Marvin, she's going to look at it and see it for face value based off of what you pulled out of that song.
I'm in agreement with that.
Oh, so you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
We good.
Yeah, what I'm
Are we on the
saying
same
is,
page?
I look at it from the point, I don't look at it from the peer point. I look at it from the point of being the advocate. I understand what the song, and what the song is going to suggest to our young women is that this is the evolved woman. This is the woman. This is the new woman. This is the empowered woman. You know, it's your stuff. You do what you want with it, girl. You grown. Why men can run around and do this and be that and da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
And women can, because for years, that was the way that things were done.
Right.
Remember, we in this room are all three people who consider ourselves to be people of God, ministers, we leaders in that. We talking about a faith that follows a book that when the census was taken, women weren't counted.
Right.
Now, I believe that's more cultural than it is some sort of shot against women, right? But again, historically, we're talking about a Kanye West who's on the other side of Me Too and some other things where women have just stepped forward and did their power thing. And if I'm an artist, I gotta be the next one to come and get my, I gotta get my million sales off of it.
Yeah.
Well,
Before you say that, we gonna continue out of break on.
Okay.
We're gonna go to a break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Yes.
Cool.
I honestly think.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You want to start off?
I think I'll get it out of the way on a who's not.
Okay, do it.
The Orioles.
Right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run. The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right. They were going into that National series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and they just crapped out. They got that game postponed, so who knows when they're going to replay that or play that game. That's my first not for the night.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on my who's not, and I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. That's okay. You just took my answer.
They're in last place in the NL West. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their run differential is a negative 65, which is just horrible. So when you have well, let me just talk about run differential a little bit. It's kind of like the
how much you're winning or losing your games by, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the margin of victory, kind of.
Right.
So when you're in a negative number, that means that then
your average game you're losing
by a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, a number like negative 65, this early into the season is pretty rough.
That's horrible.
The pitching numbers pretty much support this stat right here. I mean, the team ERA is 4.70, which is 26th in the league. They have 126 walks allowed. They acquired Jared Weaver in the offseason, and he really has not panned out. He's off to one of the worst starts in any of the pitchers in 2017. He's 0-4 with a 6.05 ERA. In May alone, he already has 12 earns run. 12 earned runs in May. And, another one of their pitchers, Clayton Richard, he's 2-4 with a 4.34 ERA. And, in May, he has 6 earned runs and 12 innings pitched. So they're not pitching well. And on top of that, they are also not batting well.
Right. But it kind of sucks because Manuel Margot is doing pretty good. His the past few at bats, his last
during the just a bit.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Than the music.
It is the culture. But when I'm not looking at the culture, Marvin,
when aren't you looking at the culture?
No, if I'm a young female.
She's looking at the culture. She's inundated with the culture.
She's looking at the culture.
Welcome back. We're looking at the
culture. The music is just a part, however, whether you want to deem it a large part or small part, the music is a part of the greater culture.
It is a part of the culture. It is. But when she first sees that, she's not going to see culture. She's going to hear words. She's going to hear beats. She's going to move to that. And then as she hears that and as she listens to the word based off of her, how many ever times she listens to that, it's going to start resonating with her in some way or not resonating with her. It's not going to go to, I understand the culture this way. Well, I understand it from your perspective.
I'm not talking about her having my perspective of understanding.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I think that we are putting more in. We're investing more in the music than the culture itself. If we begin to talk about, so let's shift away from just this conversation of hoes and drugs, and we look at it from the LGBTQ perspective, right? The LGBTQ, since pretty much the gay bashing incidents of the early 80s, right, which developed the sensitivities to this marginalized population, you've seen an increase in their freedom. More people are coming out. You see services that are directed towards them because people understand that this marginalized, you even beginning to see a shift in the faith community in its understanding and approach or response to it. So as you've seen the progression in it and you see the more liberality in it, there's more exposure.
That's true.
But we ask the age-old question still to this day, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I know the answer to that.
Right.
It shouldn't even still be a question.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's because I believe in creation.
Yeah.
So I know the chicken was here and his mechanism to reproduce was the egg. You get what I'm saying? And the point that I say that because you would not have what you see in the sense of an upswing and what appears to be our young people that are gravitating more towards and making choices. Some people are experimenting to come back and find out that ain't the lifestyle for me. Why is there more experimentation? Why is that? Because it's more exposure. That was what came first, the trap or trap music. I can answer that one for you. We was in the trap long before there was trap music. Yeah. I started selling heroin when I was 13 years old. I sold dope at 13. You get what I'm saying? We ain't had no trap music.
Okay.
Wasn't no trap, and wasn't no music that led me to selling dope. It was wearing the same pair of Air Force Ones so you could smell them on my feet and having the means right outside my door to go get some money and do something about it.
So your point is the focus should be on the culture, not the music.
Right.
The culture.
Okay.
It's the culture. The culture is bringing the music. Life isn't imitating art anymore. Art isn't imitating life anymore. Hold on.
You said it right the first time.
Yeah, life isn't imitating art anymore. Art is now imitating life, especially in urban communities. We're getting music that's based on the realities of these communities that in Baltimore until the uprising, Baltimore was in the harbor and Roland Park. And if was anything else that we can show, the stadiums. What happened when they rose up over there in Penn North? When they rose up in Penn North, it put a part of Baltimore that Baltimore had masterfully been able to hide on display for the national media. What was the response of the president, the governor, and the mayor? These thugs. Why? Because they wanted to keep it a secret. The culture been there.
Right.
Yeah.
Long before it was music.
Okay. So I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But we're going to get into the second verse, bro.
Let's get into it.
We're going to get into
Let's
the second
get into
verse
it, man.
before y'all step out.
You
Look.
ain't not even invite me back. Let's hear that.
Listen, bro. All right, so here we go. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
You such a effing hoe, right? When the first time they ask you if you want sparkling or still, why you try to act like you was drinking sparkling water for? You came out here. Before you came out here. It's my best shot, y'all. You're such a effing, I'm a sick F, I like a quick F. That's repeated 4 times. I'm a sick F, I like a quick F. I'm a sick F, I like a quick F. I like my D suck. I'll buy you a sick truck. I'll buy you some new tits. I'll give you a nip tuck. How you start a family? The condom slipped up. I'm a sick F. I'm inappropriate. I like hearing stories. I like that whole S-H-I-T. I want to hear more S-H-I-T. I like the whole S-H-I-T. Send me some more S-H-I-T, you trifling hoe B. B, B, B. You such an effing hoe, I love it. Verse 2. So this is what I learned from verse 2.
Okay.
Mom's going to disagree.
I know, because it's about the culture.
The man likes quick sexual encounters, so hoes do too. The man loves hoes because they'll accept material things in exchange for sexual favors, a sick truck. The man loves hoes because they'll accept nip tucks and new breasts in exchange for sexual favors. The man loves hoes because they're trifling. Let me go to you first. Because Mom, look at this chop.
I mean, look, I'm scared. Look, but I pulled out the same things you pulled out, and like honestly, I know it goes back to the culture.
It does.
I wasn't going to say nothing about the culture.
But I'm just saying,
That's
I recognize that.
Don't try to get out in front of me.
I recognize the culture, though. I do. I understand that.
Yeah.
And I recognize the subliminal message that they're portraying to get you to understand that this is where our women are today. I get that. But back to our young females, since this is what it's about today, they're going to accept these things based off of what they hear, because if they don't have someone there to give them the knowledge that this is not the woman that you want to be today for this new age, you know, maybe it is the woman that they want to be, but why is it that they want to be this woman that they are today?
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Kanye's saying there's some rewards to this.
Okay.
It's some rewards to it. If you go in on over here, not only verse 1, do you have this freedom when you're not, you no longer under the censorship of the male power driven society. Now you come on over here in my world and you do this, girl, there's some rewards for you. I buy you the sick truck for a quick you know what. I like my you know what, and you can get something out of the deal. Right. So you go on and you pursue that promiscuity or you pursue that way of life. There's some rewards in it for you. You ain't gotta be held back.
And now you create a name for yourself. So now this young girl, this young female has a name for herself, because it's okay for guys to do it, but for girls to do it, we consider hoes.
Listen,
you know,
it's a New York Times bestseller for a young lady that called herself Superhead. She rich. I'm not saying that I agree with it. Right. What I'm saying is, what will make us ineffective is not really knowing what we up against. If I'm a teach or try to preach or try to do anything in the sense of influencing away from the subliminal message in the song, I got to understand what the song is really saying. Right. This brother ain't degrading women.
I'm not.
And he's not. He's saying, this is, look, I'm Kanye. I'm the guy that the president called to the White House. I'm a person of power and influence. And you know what? You should have the same kind of power, or you should have your own kind of power. It's attached to sexual promiscuity. And in verse 2, he's saying, if you go ahead and do that, girl, look, why go to school for 4 years and all that? Come on over here and do this. I'll give you the sick truck.
But it's
and you can say what you want.
Though.
You can say what you want, but about 3 blocks from here, it's a bunch of young ladies that's going to leave about them clubs down there, and their pockets going to be filled because the culture. it already exists.
So let me ask the sister. I'm glad you're here.
Ew.
Is this degrading to you?
Honestly, without looking at it from Marvin's perspective today, I would say so, because when I heard it for myself, I'm like, okay, this may be something that you're speaking on, but for me, I'm like, dude, like, there's women out here who are doing positive things, you know, who don't have to, yeah, everybody want to get things quick. You know, this is a new age, new generation type thing. Everybody want things microwave. As my grandmother said, Rome wasn't built in a day. However, when I listen to the song, I'm like, man, would I want my daughter to listen to this? Absolutely not.
Okay.
I wouldn't want her to listen to it.
And that's the choice that you had.
That is the choice that I do have.
That's the choice that we have.
But what happens when my daughter listens to this and I'm not around her, because the world offers her something else other than what I'm teaching her, and I know that she has to separate herself from me at some point. It's not going to always be mommy can hold you and cuddle you and keep you all the time. It's not going to be that. So now I have to say, okay, if I listen to this song, I now have to be open to say, hey, this is what is being played today. You know, if this is what you want to listen to, understand what it's saying, what it's really saying, what it really means. You know, I got to be the one that breaks that down to my daughter. But at the end of the day, when she looks at it heads on, before I get to her, she going to be like, what?
Man,
you know,
listen.
Are you serious?
And that's one of, you know, I get joked a lot because people talk about how many children I have. Sometimes when my biological children come around, even in my office, they'll tell somebody, quick note, I'm a McKinstry. Why is that important? Because it's easy to police our own household. The reality of it is, it's a culture out there that's dying for parenting. What can I say is a reality? I have begged for women to come into my center, the Westside Youth Opportunity Center, and do something with these young women that have experienced all kinds of trauma, drama, abuse. Their young parents don't have a clue how many of them showing up. How many of them, how many of the women preachers, the women, whatever, these social activists that's coming in there where it's a captured audience of young women, and I got to sit in there and have my cubicle full of them telling me stuff I don't want to hear. Right? Why? Because it's easy to get on this show and to try to talk about it from a perspective of what's supposed to be. I'm telling you what's real. And what's real, we looking at him the same way we looking at Kanye's lyrics and not listening to his message. And that's why we losing the battle. Because while we think that young women are looking at it and all they seeing is him saying, hold this and be that and all that. No, they really getting the subliminal message that this is some sense of sort of empowerment, and they running out here trying to follow behind it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? What do they say the oldest profession in the world is?
What is it?
Prostitution.
Okay.
You go ask any scholar, they gonna tell you prostitution is the oldest profession in the world. But at the same time, the war that we fighting right now, right, is this concept, the idea of censorship, a male-dominated society, and sometimes we as black people are lost in that because we not only have to deal with that aspect of it, we got to deal with the racial inequities of it. And when we look at a situation such as this one, where we talking about the music, the music ain't nowhere near a bigger issue as the culture. And they market to us in that condition. You feel they push and promote to us. I don't care. Now listen, Baltimore has a social justice and activism community that is looking to promote. Every time I turn around, I tell people all the time, it's a thin line between letting people know what you're doing and purely exploiting those who you say you out here helping. Every time I turn around, they helping somebody, but they going live. Every time I turn around, they taking pictures and they posting it. Every time they doing a little something for somebody. All of the shameless self-promotion that's going on, ain't none of them bigger than the hip-hop artists. Ain't none of them bigger than the rapper. The people that have the ability to distribute the content as it's directed and marketed towards us ain't going to take our positive and push it. 92Q right now, there's a whole lot more people listening to them than probably listening to us. And it ain't because what they need to hear is on 92Q. 92Q, the biggest fraud in the world, you ask me.
I think so.
They were at a block party talking about they were the community. We are 92 community, and we in the community. We this community, that community. We poking, scramble, coke, and smack. Scramble, coke, and smack. The next song you play with a bunch of kids out here at the block party. But we don't literally do what we need to do because the culture is infectious. The music came after.
Okay.
The music came after the neighborhood shifted. But we want to blame the music and the artists that's doing it. The artists just getting their come up.
Do you think that we're doing that in this form?
I think that the mentality does it. I think the mind frame and the mentality does it because I'm listening to the responses to this particular song. And literally, we are in that space where we get held up by the language, so we're not even seeing or hearing the subliminal message.
So let me ask you this. Because you said, and I'm taking notes, you said that the youth get the subliminal message behind the song. So does an 8-year-old get the subliminal message when they hear it?
I hope an 8-year-old don't hear it.
But do you think an 8-year-old?
I think that at 8 years old, a parent still has the ability to govern whether their child hears it or not.
So if an 8-year-old hears the song, do you think they get the subliminal message?
No.
Okay.
I think that the 8-year-old probably, like the innocence that we try to portray in this room, probably hears that language and either get excited about the fact that they hearing some cussing or they know it's bad and they turn the other way. It's not in the 8-year-old's purview to try to digest or to understand a subliminal message. It's going to go one way or the other. Or
that's true. However, if
it's going to go the other way, I'm running because I know that ain't right.
And that's true. However, if it gets into your mental psyche without you ever wanting it to, when you have desires and urges and things that you are aspiring after for whatever reason due to the culture, it's like, I don't really understand what's going on with Mikey, but it's some other stuff going on that he might not understand that he got these things going on too.
Listen.
So at that point, how do you even?
Good point. Sorry. We're going to a break. We'll be right back. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned.
I happen to, and I said this before, I think
Here's what you missed on Salacious Life Radio.
You know, when it comes to your children, especially if you're dating someone that you actually like, you do want it to work. So you're gonna hope and encourage the relationship between your child and that person because you like that person, you know, so you're gonna hope for the best. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work and you can't make it work. You can't force it. It's like a branch. You keep bending it, eventually it'll snap, and even if you put it back together, it'll never be what it once was. But you definitely pray on it. You hope for the best, you know, because like nobody wants to spend the rest of their life alone just because a particular relationship didn't work out, but you had this beautiful creature as a result of it, you know. But you don't want to necessarily spend and you're not all of a sudden a bad person. You're not all of a sudden not going to fulfill this other person's needs.
You, madam, are a harlot and a scoundrel.
Because I had one kid while I was still married. Like,
but what if you? I take that back.
What if the situation turns around the other way? So you ready for your child to meet? They meet the person, and this person is a giver. So this person's buying your child lots of gifts and wanting to.
I would usually. Do you let? You don't like if it's a birthday or some sort of holiday or something like that. Okay, and they want to get them a few things or get them something. Okay, but just on like a regular basis, like unless it's like Nestle's Quick or something that you can get from, like, you know what I'm saying, or like Kit Kats or something like that. Like, no, don't spend a lot of money
It's
on.
unrealistic. I'm sorry.
It's unrealistic.
I
Don't try to buy his.
Tune in live to Salacious Life Radio every Wednesday from 9 to 11, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Fun on the show today, and I just want to close us out in a few minutes, and I wanted to ask a question. So you've heard the lyrics. I gave you some information on the subconscious mind. I gave you some information, a little bit of information on auditory learning, and we talked about the overall objective of this program. Now I want to kind of turn the attention, as I said, to the parents, because again, I hope that this program will warrant some conversations that you'll have at the dinner table with your daughters. And I really wanted to take an opportunity to break down the lyrics of the song. Again, I keep saying this on purpose, no attack on the artist, but we listen to songs. We hear it, we like the beat, but we don't really pay attention to lyrics. So this parents, dads, moms, grandparents will give you the opportunity to really break down this conversation based on the lyrics and not necessarily the beat. So we broke down all the lyrics from the introduction to the first verse to the second verse. And now we are empowering you at this point to have the conversation with the youth and young adults, even if you're not aware, or rather they heard it. I beseech you to have the conversation, because it's a matter of time before they hear it. Again, this is top 9 and has been for almost the last 2 months. So the question that I leave you is, can constant exposure to demeaning or degrading songs cause low self-esteem and low self-worth in female youth? You be the judge. Maybe it can, maybe it can't. I made sure that when I posed the question, I was very cognizant of the verbiage that I used. The question is, can it be? Can it cause? Does it have the potential to reinforce low self-esteem, low self-worth? Does it have that potential? The other question I want to leave you is, what is the most appropriate response for parents or guardians of female youth who are exposed? I think I posted on the site the question, so you'll have a chance to participate in the poll. I would love to get your feedback. So, multiple choice. Are you the A parent? The A parent. Do you prevent female youth from being exposed altogether? Are you the kind of parent that says, you know what? I will not allow my daughter to hear that whatsoever. Right? That's the A parent. The B parent is this. Do you expose the female youth and then use the opportunity as a teachable moment? So you're sitting around, or if you're in your car or whatever, do you listen to the lyrics? Brother Marvin mentioned a good point about the subliminal messages behind the music. Those are things that a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 9 or 10, elementary, maybe some middle school, maybe they are not cognizant or conscious enough to be aware of the subliminal messages. So this is where your maturity as a parent comes in. Understand the subliminal message behind it. Make sure that you can have the conversation with the understanding of the subliminal message. Because in the youth's mind, they can't grasp the message behind the message. I would go further and say they probably can't even grasp the spirit behind the message either. But again, this is your responsibility as a parent to make sure that you give that understanding. The C parent, do you expose the female youth because the song is innocent? Some of you may think that the song is innocent, it's just a song, it's just something to dance to, and you're not necessarily concerned about the subliminal message, or you're not concerned about the spirit of the song. And again, that's your choice, there's no judgment on my end. My job today was to give you the information so that you can make the best decision as a parent as to what approach you would take in terms of introducing your youth and young adults and having a teachable moment or not. So I want to leave you with those questions. Again, it all boils down to this. Can demeaning or degrading songs cause female youth to develop low self-esteem and low self-worth? If you're a parent and your answer is yes, how will you respond? At the end of the day, as some would say, you are responsible to God for laying the foundation for your daughters. The choice is yours, but please know that your choice is going to affect the generations of your family. So I always say that I'm in the business of holistic personal training, mind, body, and soul. But in reality, you are the personal trainer, the primary personal trainer for your children. And what I want to leave you is this thought. They need constant, or they need to be constantly conditioned. And I'm talking to myself as well. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. They need to constantly hear that whatever they did was good enough. They need to be constantly hear that they are good enough. They need to be constantly reminded of their accomplishments in life and how proud you are as a result. They need to be constantly reminded of how intelligent they are. They need to be constantly reminded of what David said in Psalm 139:14. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank our guests as well. Please join us again next week, Sunday evening from 7 to 9. And again, if you are interested in workshops, seminars, booking a speaking engagement on this topic, send me an email at darrellwhite.crs@gmail.com or contact me directly. As my cell is 443-762-6010. Thank you very much for joining me, and look forward to seeing you again next Sunday. Take care and be blessed.
Check Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty when he rants about his staff.
I agree. Can you come on. I told you stop touching that button. Why is it so loud? God. Did you turn one all the way up again? Do I have to come in there? God damn her. If it was going right, I would let you do your part, but I'm sorry, but it's just not functioning the way it's supposed to be. I told you mind your business.
Well, Monty, if I can comment on the Jennifer Holliday situation, I know I'm live on the air. I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay.
I know I'm live on the air. This is why this show is called Talk Lately. Anyway, let's get back to every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And the guy, my friend was like, hey, there's a young lady walking down. He's like, hey, you should go holler at her. And I'm like, nah, man. I'm a shy guy anyway, so I'm not going to do that. But he's like, yeah, do it, man. Go ahead, do it. So I said, hey, how are you? She kept walking past, and my friend also yelled out something as well. So she had stopped and she had looked at us or whatever, and she said, this was the day before Christmas too, it was so bad. And she's like, God damn it, it's Christmas. Like, leave me alone. And I'm like, what's wrong? I'm just trying to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm literally trying to talk to her. I'm catcalling. And I'm thinking, like, it's funny. You know what I mean? I'm literally thinking, this is a couple years ago. I'm literally thinking, like, this is funny. Huh? You know what I mean? Like, whatever. We get into that bar and she's there. Okay, and she lays me out.
Good for her.
She lays me out. I'll tell you, I mean, little do I know, I had dealt with a hardcore feminist that day. She even told me, she's like, I'm a feminist. You did not know that. You do not know who I am. You do not know where I'm from. You do not know who I know.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Shepsworth Bentley, and if you haven't heard last week's show, make sure you guys go onto BeExposedRadio.com's Facebook page or YouTube page and check it out, because you don't want to miss it. Our next show is going to be next Sunday, every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m., Homegrown Radio, new, fresh Baltimore radio.